Let's talk about CLOV. Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm your beautiful host, Young Buffett, and in today's video, we're going to do what we always do. So if you haven't ever been here before, scroll down, hit that subscribe button. Now you're not new anymore, and then you're going to know what the next video is going to be like, and then pretty much what all of my other videos have looked like, and it's just a very exciting and good time. Now, speaking of an exciting and really good time, I had Chipotle today, and in my Finery trading group, instead of talking about stocks, I taught everybody how to get free chips at Chipotle. So if you're interested about doing that, hop over to Finery and get some free Chipotle chips. But jumping into CLOV. So Wall Street Bets New, Wall Street Bets Elite, stocks, stock market, investing, SPACs, options, day trading, and short squeeze subreddits are all tracked inside of Ape Wisdom. Now, the reason why we look at this is because we want to take a look at what people are talking about on Reddit in the past 24 hours, and then it's ranked based off of the comment volume within the 24 hours. So number one being Tesla. They had an absolute killer day today, reaching a $1 trillion market cap. So congratulations to anybody who has Tesla. It is absolutely killing it. Number two, we have DWAC. This is Trump's social media company, SPAC thing. We made a video about it that talked about pretty much everything you need to know about that. So if you haven't already seen that, definitely go check that out. Facebook had earnings today. Again, in my Finery group, we were very closely watching Facebook. A couple of us put about $1,000 into it to see what happens, and so far so good. So let's see where that opens tomorrow. Then we have Prog, SPY, Remark, BKKT was absolutely insane today. GameStop, AMD. AMC at number 13. As you can tell from this this rank, the meme stocks are kind of slowing down. You could call the DWAC a meme stock if you want. I don't think it is really. It's a very, very momentum and hype stock with an actual product that will be coming out soon. But I don't know. Prog you could call a meme stock. But either way, the staple meme stocks, the GameStops and AMCs and stuff, they are losing momentum. So I'm very curious to see where that ends up, because watch this. You have to scroll down this far and keep on going until you find our little CLOV. So clicking on CLOV, overall positive public sentiment. Look at that, 82% of all mentions were positive in some sort of way. Nearby words including buy, more, GME, like, shit, then, again, holding, good, bought, big, wish, AMC, DWAC, and many. So people are talking about it. It is slowing down, but that makes sense because the price isn't really doing much. So what are you going to talk about, I guess? But it's good to see that positive attitude towards it. So I usually don't like to see when the public sentiment goes anywhere from like 60 to 50 to sometimes even 40%. So it's good to see that anytime it's mentioned, more times than often, it is positive. Jumping into Swaggy Stocks. Swaggy Stocks covers Wall Street Bets ticker sentiment. So the other one was a lot of Reddit. This one is just Wall Street Bets. We take a look at this because Wall Street Bets people are crazy. So number one being Tesla, obviously, and then the rest. CLOV is not on the top list anymore, but what we can do is we can search for the ticker directly, and then it still gives us the chart that we were looking for. It shows the comment volume and the stock prices. The comment volume has dipped drastically, and the stock price is pretty much held. Now, what's interesting is previously we were able to identify a lot of people talking about it. The stock price tends to follow as more and more retail start to pour in. But the retail from Wall Street Bets, they are quick. If you are on the CLOV Reddit, you know that the people in that Reddit are not quick. They are either long-term or mid-term, or they're holding for a different reason. They're not in it for a pump and dump. One of my previous videos, we reviewed why CLOV. And in that why CLOV video, we talked about how it's not just a pump and dump or a crazy meme stock. It's a lot more than that. It's a hyper growth company. And we'll actually talk about that in a post that I saw on Reddit. But these Wall Street Bets people are very quick. So they're very quick to get bored. When you see that price drop, the comment volume drops as well. People stop really caring, but it's just good to know. There's not much we can pull out of that. But what is important is the max pain. It changed. So yesterday, the max pain was 8. I just checked it over the weekend to prepare for this week. But now the max pain is 7.5. So it means a lot of people are buying puts. But max pain, if you don't know, it's a strike price that the stock needs to close at to cause the maximum amount of pain. I go into much more detail about exactly what max pain is in another video titled "What is max pain?" and like what do you need to know. But max pain 7.5. Very curious to see where the stock closes. Right now it's 7.5. So keep an eye out on it. We watch this because look at that. The purple line is the max pain strike and the beige line is the stock price. They are very, very close to one another almost always. Very, very interesting to see if CLOV is going to close at or around the max pain. For the past 2 weeks, we've been selling calls around the max pain. But as we get closer and closer to earnings, it gets more and more scary to sell calls. So let's see. This max pain, unfortunately, is below my cost basis of the last 100 shares that I bought. So I haven't done anything yet, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. CLOV dark pool data. The shorts are kind of losing momentum based off of these numbers. The net short volume is positive 658,000. The net short volume in dollars is positive 4.9 million. Again, when the net short volume is negative, that means there's more and more shorting going on, which this stock grid or people who are in it for a short squeeze or a gamma squeeze scenario, they want more and more shorts to pile in. So then if a squeeze happens, it goes insane. So they call that bullish. This technically in that scenario would be bearish, but I don't really care either way. I'd like to actually see some of the short pressure get released. We might even see more and more short pressure get released as we get into earnings. Earnings are coming up soon. So definitely keep an eye out for how much is getting shorted, at what levels we're getting shorted, and how the stock price moves. But I saw this from a frick one on Reddit. Practically 100 current job openings on the CLOV website. Who says that there is no growth planned? That's really cool. I always love alternative ways of gauging a company's growth or value, getting a sneak peek of what's actually going on. Take a look at this. So this is cloverhealth.com/current openings pretty much. I can put the link in the description if you want to scroll through and look for yourself. But clinical programs, there are a ton of jobs available for clinical and clinical program operations, ranging anywhere from New Jersey to Georgia, Kansas, anywhere remote US, New Jersey. Clinical program operations, again, remote New Jersey, United States, anywhere. Then you got corporate strategy and development. You got the senior associate corporate development, senior director corporate development. You got corporate strategy jobs like manager, strategy, planning, senior associate, strategic initiatives, general and administrative, finance, strategic finance, legal, growth, communications. Should we apply for the communications role, director of internal communications or marketing? Should I apply for the marketing and sales support specialist? I can be remote. But anyways, you got growth operations, sales operations, network management and operations, customer success associates, a ton of jobs there, network engagement, people operations, assistance, human resources, talent, plan operations, appeals, claims, service operations, stars, director, stars lead, technology, analytics, data science, designers, engineers, IT, product management, program operations, security. There's a lot of growth there, a lot of needs. So companies don't just post jobs for fun. If they were to do that, they would just collect a vast amount of resumes just as a backup. But these are all needs, and these needs come from a demand, and the demand comes from business. So it's very important and very cool to see that there is that need, and they are looking for all of these people, and they're trying to fill some seats, fill some roles. They have plans, and they're going after those plans. But their stock isn't doing much. Let's jump into the day and see what's going on. So looking at the daily chart, it did what it always does and just hung out around that max pain. Literally did nothing all day. That's interesting. So it opened up, bounced up. This teal line right here just so happens to be the max pain and the previous close line of where the stock closed yesterday or Friday. But it opened up, went about 756, worked its way right back down to about 742, worked its way right back up to around 756, and then slowly climbed up to 760, saw a peak there, worked its way down a little bit, coming back to that previous close and max pain line, and then consolidating a little bit around that 755-ish range, worked its way right back down to that max pain, and then worked its way right back up, consolidated towards the end, only to drop off a little bit in after hours and kind of just hang out. So very interesting and essentially useless day, burning a day, waiting to see what happens. Very interesting to see that. Well, what's more interesting, and I sound like a broken record, why are people buying so many calls? Now, this $8, $8.50, and $9 weekly call that expires this week is down 38%, 55%, 66%. These options are getting destroyed, but week after week, tens of thousands of volume. They're buying it from anywhere from $8 to earlier this morning, it was about $10 or so for that contract. I mean, I guess if you have some money, you can mess around with these. If it pops off, you might be able to double that really quick. But in most cases, what's been happening, the stock will kind of blip up a little bit and everybody gets excited and pours into these call options only for it to expire worthless. And the person who wins is the person who sold it to you. And in most cases, the person who sold it to you is a market maker, just providing that liquidity, a hedge fund, hedging their bets, padding their stats, staying alive, keeping that CLOV cycle of pop and drop, pop and drop, pop and drop. So be careful. I'm currently looking for selling maybe one of the 8s or the 8.5 calls. Probably not for this week unless something really pops off, but maybe the next week's if the premiums get a little juicy. I do not sell calls on red days. I do not sell calls when they are negative like that. I only sell calls when the premium gets really juicy and actually makes sense and there's some volume and velocity. So we're just waiting and hanging out and waiting to see how earnings, how we ramp up into earnings, or if we just continue to consolidate like we have been. Earnings are right around the corner, November 8th. Get ready. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. With that, I love you, and I'll catch you in the next video.